Okay, let's unpack this.
Hmm.
Have you ever looked around and felt, well, puzzled?
Hmm.
Why do some people seem to build financial momentum almost effortlessly, finding opportunities, creating wealth, while others, maybe just as smart, just as hardworking, feel stuck, like they're on a financial treadmill?
Yeah, it's a common feeling. And for a long time, the usual answers were all external, right?
Exactly. Pick the right stocks, start the perfect business, master those complex spreadsheets.
But what if that's not the real story? What if the main driver isn't out there, but inside?
That's precisely it. Because what's fascinating, and this is something I really dug into in an article I wrote from my blog, bullishbooks.com,
Oh, okay.
is that those external things, yeah, they matter sometimes, but they aren't the fundamental difference maker. The real secret, the key that unlocks financial freedom is, well, it's your mindset.
Not just a feel-good idea, then.
Not at all. The article's called Reprogram Your Mind for Riches, 8 Steps to Financial Abundance. And it argues this is foundational.
So our mission for this deep dive is to pull out the key insights from your work there.
Right. We want to show you how your thinking actually shapes your financial reality. And more importantly, give you some actionable things you can start doing, like today.
Okay, sounds good. Where do we start?
Let's jump right into what the article calls the core mental battle: scarcity versus abundance thinking.
Ah, yes. This is absolutely crucial. Scarcity thinking, it's basically rooted in fear, isn't it?
Totally. It's that deep down belief that resources are limited. Like a pie, right? If someone else gets a bigger slice, there's less for you.
And that leads to certain behaviors: hoarding, maybe being overly competitive, feeling threatened by others' success.
And feeling like wealth is only for a select few, the lucky ones.
You see this play out in huge ways. The article brings up Blockbuster versus Netflix, which is just a classic example.
Oh, it's perfect. Think back 2000. Blockbuster is king. Reed Hastings from Netflix, this tiny DVD by mail service offers Blockbuster a big stake for just $50 million.
And Blockbuster says no.
They said no. Why? Pure scarcity mindset. They just saw Netflix as this little niche competitor, maybe nibbling at their late fees, but they couldn't imagine a world beyond their physical stores.
Meanwhile, Hastings is operating from total abundance. He sees technology creating whole new markets, streaming, global reach, things Blockbuster couldn't even wrap their heads around.
He wasn't thinking about a fixed pie. He was thinking about baking a whole new, much bigger pie.
And we all know how that ended. Blockbuster's gone, Netflix is.
Well,
Netflix.
another great story from the article is Sarah Blakely with Spanx. Started with $5,000.
Just $5,000, yeah, and tons of rejection initially.
Right. Manufacturers kept saying no. A scarcity mindset would take that as proof. See? It won't work. Resources are tight.
But Blakely, she saw rejection as data, as feedback.
Exactly. An abundance mindset. It wasn't failure. It was just information guiding her to the right manufacturer, the better approach. She believed in the potential value she was creating.
And turned $5K into a billion-dollar company. Not because doors were open for her, but because her thinking allowed her to push doors open herself.
These examples really hammer home the point I was making.
Yeah.
Your mindset isn't just about, positive thinking. It's the literal lens you see the world through.
It determines if you even spot the opportunities.
And if you have the grit to go after them, financial freedom isn't just luck. It starts with cultivating that abundance mindset.
Okay, so mindset is foundational. But the article goes deeper, right? Into emotional intelligence.
Oh, yeah. This is huge and often missed. It's not just what you think about money, but how you feel about it, your emotional relationship.
So emotional intelligence, basically understanding and managing your own emotions and recognizing others.
Yep. And it plays critical roles in finance. Self-awareness, for example, just recognizing when feelings like fear or greed or even excitement are driving your money decisions.
Then there's self-regulation, the ability to pause.
Crucial. Can you resist that impulse buy when you're stressed? Can you stick to your investment plan when the market gets scary or when you feel overly optimistic? That's emotional regulation.
Motivation too, right? Bouncing back from setback.
Absolutely. Persistence is key. And then empathy and social skills, understanding others' needs, helps you create value, build networks, all paths to opportunity.
The article points out that many financial struggles come from these unrecognized emotional patterns.
Totally. Like maybe you overspend when you're sad.
Yeah.
Or avoid checking your accounts because it makes you anxious.
Or make risky bets when you're feeling euphoric.
Right. Those aren't logical decisions. They're emotional habits leading to, predictable, often poor outcomes.
But you can work on this. The article suggests an action step, the wealth mindset inventory.
Yes, it's practical. First, list a few beliefs you have about money. even the negative ones like money's the root of all evil or it's hard to come by.
Okay.
Then, for each one, write an empowering alternative, like money is a tool for good, or value creation leads to abundant money flow.
Got it. Reframe the belief.
Then, identify an emotional trigger like, when I feel stressed, I tend to shop online, and plan a simple alternative response. When I feel stressed, I'll go for a 10-minute walk instead.
And the key is practice.
Daily practice. For at least 21 days, you're consciously building new neural pathways, new habits around money and emotions.
Okay, so mindset, emotions. The article also touches on the science behind this, doesn't it? This isn't just wishful thinking.
No, not at all. Abundance principles are grounded in neuroscience and, frankly, basic economics.
The idea that wealth isn't fixed but expandable through value creation, that's fundamental economics.
Right. When you shift from how do I get my slice to how can I create more value, the whole game changes.
And the neuroscience part, the RAS.
Yeah, the reticular activating system. Think of it like your brain's bouncer or filter. It lets in what's important to you, what you're focused on, and filters out the rest. There's just too much info otherwise.
So if you program it for scarcity.
You see lack everywhere. You miss opportunities because your brain literally isn't highlighting them for you. But if you consciously focus on abundance, on opportunity.
Your brain starts pointing them out.
Exactly. You start seeing things you were blind to before. Connections, solutions, openings. It's powerful stuff.
This all leads into a framework outlined in your article, right? An 8-step path.
Yes, a sort of predictable path based on how many self-made people actually built sustainable wealth. It's a system.
Okay, what are the steps?
It starts naturally with 1, mindset transformation. Then 2, visualization, goal setting. 3, strategic action. 4, financial education.
Makes sense.
5, risk intelligence understanding and managing risk. 6, relationship building or networking. 7, personal branding. And finally, 8, legacy planning.
8 pillars. And they work together, not in isolation.
Precisely. Now, we can't deep dive into every single one today, but let's really unpack a couple of the most critical ones. How about visualization?
Yeah, let's do that. People sometimes think it's a bit fluffy.
Right. But as I lay out in the article, it's actually a scientifically validated technique.
Right.
Top performers everywhere use it. It's way more than just daydreaming.
Because it engages the subconscious.
Exactly that. Your conscious mind, it's limited processing, maybe 40 bits per second. Your subconscious, millions. Visualization speaks directly to that powerhouse.
Bypassing the logical, often doubtful conscious mind.
And here's the really cool part, scientifically. Your brain has trouble telling the difference between a vividly imagined experience and a real one.
Ah, interesting.
So when you vividly visualize achieving your goals, feeling the success, your brain starts building the same neural pathways it would if it were actually happening. You're literally rewiring yourself for success.
And you've used this personally, right? You mentioned that in the article.
Oh, absolutely. Long before bullishbooks.com. About 20 years ago, I was teaching middle school science, but I had this intense desire to do actual research. So I started visualizing deliberately, closing my eyes, picturing myself in a lab. I'd imagine the smell, the equipment, the feeling of discovery, the specific kinds of problems I was solving, feeling the emotions of it.
Creating a detailed mental movie.
Exactly. And fast forward, that's what I do now. I'm a scientist at a top research institution, living that vision. And now I'm applying the exact same techniques to my entrepreneurial goals with Bullish Books. Seeing specific outcomes, feeling the momentum build as mental clarity turns into focused action. It works.
So effective visualization. The article mentions key techniques.
Yes. Multisensory detail is key. See it, hear it, feel it. Emotional engagement, really feel the success, the freedom. Process visualization, see yourself taking the steps, not just the end result. And identity integration, see yourself as the person who achieves this.
And how do you practice it?
Just 5-10 minutes daily is powerful. Quiet space, visualize goals achieved. Include specific numbers, income, net worth. Feel the freedom. Picture making wise choices. Consistency trumps intensity.
And it's not just for big picture wealth, right? It can be used for specific things.
For sure. Goal setting, it clarifies what you really want. Decision making, mentally rehearse options.
Right.
Problem solving, envision creative solutions.
Okay, so the action step here is create a daily routine. Find a quiet time. Maybe write down the vision first, perhaps record it.
Yeah, recording yourself, reading your vision can be super effective. Listen daily. Maybe keep a journal. See what shifts after 30 days.
All right. Visualization is powerful, but it needs
Action. Exactly. The next pillar, as I wrote, vision without action is just, well, hallucination.
It's the bridge between the inner and outer world.
And so many people get stuck in planning paralysis. researching endlessly, tweaking the plan, but never actually doing anything. Often it's fear of failure or perfectionism.
The old imperfect action beats perfect inaction.
Every single time. Especially in wealth building. Mistakes are just tuition fees for your real-world education. You got to fail forward.
And action creates momentum, right? That's often underestimated.
Hugely. Small, consistent actions compound like crazy over time. In skills, relationships, knowledge, finances, everything. Consistency is the magic ingredient, much more than occasional big efforts. It's basically a requirement now.
But taking action consistently requires self-discipline, which can be tough.
It is tough, but it's a trainable muscle, not a fixed trait. The article suggests strategies. Start ridiculously small to build a habit. Design your environment to make it easy. Get an accountability partner.
Consciously do things that feel uncomfortable.
And focus on identity. Shift from I want to do this to I am the kind of person who does this daily.
You mentioned you have more on this on your site.
Yeah, for anyone really struggling with this, I put together a comprehensive guide on bullishbooks.com, drawing from The Compound Effect, Atomic Habits. It gives systems for mastering consistency. Definitely check that out if action is your bottleneck.
Okay, so the action step for this pillar. Create an action momentum system. Pick one small daily action for your goals.
Super small to start, like 10 minutes of learning, one outreach email, 20 minutes on a side project.
Set a specific time and place. Use visual cues. Track your streak. Don't break the chain.
Get accountability, and plan to gradually increase the challenge as it gets easier. Build that momentum.
Okay, so mindset, visualization, action. Those are huge. Now, we don't have time for a super deep dive on all the others, but maybe touch on the remaining pillars. Education, risk, relationships, branding, legacy.
Right. They're all crucial parts of the system. Financial education, for instance. It's not about becoming a Wall Street quant.
No, it's about the fundamentals. Income versus net worth, assets versus liabilities, good debt versus bad debt, cash flow, basic tax efficiency, and risk management.
Exactly. You have to intentionally learn this stuff. Books, courses, good content creators, maybe an advisor. It directs your mindset and action. Again, I break down a lot of these concepts in articles on bullishbooks.com if you want clear explanations.
And part of education is often budgeting, which people dread.
Yeah, but it's not about restriction. It's about aligning your money with your values and goals. It's a freedom tool, really. Pay yourself first. Automate. Focus on the big wins. Track consciously. Be flexible. It enables delayed gratification.
And understanding passive income is key for long-term freedom, too.
Huge. Money working for you, detached from your time. Dividends, real estate, business systems, royalties. Focus on building one stream first.
Action step for education. Assess your current literacy. Pick a topic to learn. Schedule learning time. Apply it somehow. Maybe find a study buddy.
Then there's opportunity and risk intelligence. Seeing potential and protecting your downside.
Identifying opportunities, spotting trends, solving problems people complain about, connecting ideas, using your network, sometimes thinking against the grain. Where's the inefficiency? What's frustrating people?
And risk management diversification. Not all eggs in one basket. Proper position sizing, do your homework, due diligence, maybe committing capital in stages, having exit strategies. Wealthy people calculate and mitigate risk. No single failure should wipe you out.
You can even turn threats into advantages sometimes. Scenario planning, being adaptable, seeing opportunity when others are fearful.
Action step for this. An opportunity risk audit. List your top 3 opportunities. What are the risks? How can you mitigate them? Create a watch list for trends.
Next, networking or relationship building. You can't do it alone.
Nope. Your network equals access, opportunities, knowledge, resources. In the digital age, it's about providing value first, being strategic, creating content, engaging consistently. Deep relationships beat superficial connections.
Emotional intelligence is huge here too. Builds trust, helps navigate conflict.
Absolutely. And finding mentors is massive. Accelerates learning, helps avoid pitfalls, but it needs to be a two-way street. Offer value first. Don't just ask for favors. Seek wisdom. My guide on relationships covers this too.
Action step. Strategic networking plan. Identify 10 key people. Research them. How can you offer value? Nurture those connections over time. Join relevant communities.
And then personal branding. How are you perceived? What value do people associate with you?
It attracts opportunities, building a reputation for expertise, reliability, problem solving. It's built through action and value, not just hype.
Leadership plays a role too, even without a formal title. Showing vision, building teams, navigating challenges, and your digital presence. It's your 24/7 brand ambassador. Look at Gary Vaynerchuk, Marie Forleo, built empires on their brands.
Action step. Craft your personal brand strategy. Define your niche. What's your unique value? Create content. Seek leadership roles. Audit your online footprint. Write a simple brand statement.
Okay, that's a lot, but you see how they all connect.
Yeah, it's a whole system. Mindset, visualization, action, education, risk, relationships, branding. And the final one, legacy planning, which is about the impact beyond yourself.
Exactly. So bringing it all together, the message from my article and from our chat today is financial freedom isn't luck. It's the result of consistently applying these 8 pillars. They reinforce each other.
So for someone listening, building their own roadmap means what?
It means an honest look at where you are now on each pillar, setting specific milestones, planning how you'll learn and act, and being ready to adjust course. It's your journey, but this framework gives you the map.
The action step to tie it all together.
Build your sustainable wealth system. Rate yourself 110 on each of the 8 pillars. Pick 2-3 priority areas to focus on first. Set specific 30-day, 90-day, 1-year goals for those. Define the daily, weekly habits needed. Maybe create a simple wealth dashboard to track progress. Schedule quarterly reviews.
The gap, then, isn't usually knowing what to do.
It's the implementation, the willingness to act consistently, even when it's hard or slow. That's the real differentiator.
So we've covered a lot: the power of mindset, emotions, the science, the 8 steps, a closer look at visualization and action.
Hopefully you're feeling equipped with some powerful ideas. But ideas are only potential power. Action is real power. So just like I asked in the article, I'll ask you now, what's the one wealth-building action you'll take today?
Don't wait. Pick one thing. Small is fine.
Define a term. Do 5 minutes of visualization. Schedule that learning time. Just commit to one thing today.
And if you want the full breakdown, all the details from the source material.
You can find the complete article, Reprogram Your Mind for Riches, 8 Steps to Financial Abundance, plus loads more insights on wealth building right on my website.
That's bullishbooks.com. Go check it out.
And while you're there, definitely subscribe to the bullishbooks.com newsletter. As the article mentions, it's designed to give you ongoing guidance, support, and practical tips on this journey to financial freedom and abundance.
Don't just think about it. Start building your path right now.